Hi everybody. With the heat of summer on us for sure, it makes this shaded area underneath our treehouse in the Hamilton Children's Garden an even more enjoyable place to be. I first started working in this garden area way back in 2012, so it's fun to see how much stuff has grown in and providing all of this wonderful shade to make an enjoyable place for me to talk to you today about little oaks again. So I think it's really difficult to pin down a favorite plant because I love so many different kinds. But if you've watched many of these videos so far, you'll learn that Quercus, the genus of oaks, is one of my favorite to work with when it comes to conservation projects. And this species right here, this little tiny thing, Quercus toumeyi, there's actually 3 years worth of growth embodied in here. So this acorn was collected in 2018, believe it or not. And one of the reasons that I'm excited to share this with you today is because the world of oak conservation has gotten to be increasingly collaborative. And one of the difficult barriers that we're working to get over is cross-border collaboration between Mexico and the United States. So this is a mostly Mexican species of oak, which is where most of the diversity of Quercus exists. But this species just barely comes up into Arizona a touch and New Mexico just a little bit. But the amazing thing about this tree, aside from the fact that it's so small given its age, this is the species of oak in North America that actually has the smallest leaf of any of them. Aside from that, would you believe that there are only 8 trees in the entire world known to be grown from habitat of this species? Right here I have 6. So what I'm getting at today in talking with you about these trees is not only kind of some of the amazing backstory of how this little plant and the rest of these came to be here with me today, but also just to give you a sense of how big and time intensive our planning related to collection, development, and conservation projects has to be. So with something that is this big after 3 years of investment, after going out into habitat and collecting the seeds in the first place, we have to be pretty strategic about where we put something like this. And so I'm excited to share with all of you that my colleagues and I are actually working toward giving some designated areas, not only to these beautiful little wild collected endangered species of oaks, but other wonderful native trees as well, like we've talked about in the past, such as walnuts. So give us time, because this is going to take another 50 years to really be a spectacular specimen, but you can also trust that we are approaching the work that way, and we are very dedicated to being an amazing repository, not only for something like Quercus toumeyi, which needs our help, but so many of the other species within our collection that are in the same category. So come to the garden, enjoy the shade where you can find it, but also recognize that some of these little tiny things that you see spotted around the landscape are going to be very critical for maybe even your great-grandchildren.